This is Geometry, section 12.5, circles in the coordinate plane. So in this section, we're going to learn how to write the actual equations of circles and graph them in the coordinate plane. So we first are going to decide if the following points are on the circle. So we're just going to look at the circle to start off. So 5, 0 is right here. That is on the circle. -3, +4 is right here. That's also on the circle. 2 and 4.6, that's a little bit harder to tell because we don't know if that's exactly 4.6. So what we could do is we could look at the equation of the circle, which we'll figure out how to get in a second, and we could plug these in for x and y. So x squared would be 2 squared, y squared would be 4.6 squared, and then equals 25. If we plugged those in and did the math for that, then we would see that that does actually work out. So that would be on the circle. Same thing with 4.8 and -1.4. 4.8, -1.4, maybe it's on the circle, so let's plug it in to check. If we do that again, same thing, 4.8 squared plus -1.4 squared. When we square negative, it's going to become positive. And that one would also work if we plug those in. So we get the idea. We don't really need to check these other ones. If we plug these in, square this, add them together, these all work. So how do we get that equation? That's the big question. The equation, x squared plus y squared equals 25, means that each point, x comma y, on the circle is the square root of 25, or 5 units, from the circle's center, which is at 0, 0. So that's a lot of stuff. So we're going to figure out, if I give you a circle, how do you get the equation? Or if I give you the equation, how do you graph the circle? So the equation of the circle centered at 0, 0 is always x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared. So if the circle is centered at 0, 0, this part always stays the same. It's just x squared plus y squared. And then it equals whatever your radius is, that number squared. So r is the radius. So write the equation of the circle shown below. These are all centered at 0, 0. So all of these are going to be x squared plus y squared equals x squared plus y squared equals x squared plus y squared equals x squared plus y squared equals. So all we need to do is find out the radius and square it. For this one, if we look at the radius, it's out here at 6. 6 squared is 36. So there we go, done. This one is 2 units, 2 squared is 4. This one is 1 unit, 1 squared is 1. This one goes by different units. It goes by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 squared is 625. All right. For this one, it says to graph the circles. So here it says x squared plus y squared equals 9. If I take the square root of that, it gives me the radius, which is 3. So I go out 3, up 3, out 3, down 3. And make a circle as best you can. That's the circle. Same thing here. Take the square root of this number. That means the radius is 4. 4, 4, 4, 4. Make a circle. Try to hit the dots. Hopefully your circle is better than mine. All right. X squared plus y squared equals 7 squared. Square root of 7 squared is 7. So 7, 7, 7, 7. Circle. There we go. All right, so the general form of an equation for a circle, because it's not always going to be centered at 0, 0, unfortunately, so it does get a little bit more complicated. So if the center has the coordinates h, k, the x coordinate of the center is h, and the y coordinate of the center is k. We don't use x and y because we already have x and y in the equation, and that would make it confusing. So we call the center coordinates h and k. So it's going to be x minus whatever h is. So if it's positive in the equation, it's going to be negative. If it's negative in the equation, it's going to be positive. It's the opposite. That's important to remember. So x minus h, all that squared, plus y minus, again, k squared equals, this is always your radius squared. So the equals is always your radius squared. So h and k are always going to be opposite of whatever they actually are. For example, if I had a circle with center -4, +3, the equation would be x plus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals, let's say the radius was 2, it would equal 4. All right, so more examples of that. What's the center of this circle? Well, there's nothing added or subtracted from x and y, so the center is 0, 0. Always take the square root of this number to find the radius. Square root of 400 is going to be 20. This one, so it's a -5 here, which means it's a +5. -3 here, which means it's a +3. Square root of 49, 7. This one, +8 means -8. +7 means -7. Square root of 81, 9. +12 means -12. +1 means -1. Radius, square root this, 2. -4 means +4. +3 means -3. Square root of 64 means the radius is 8. Nothing here with x. If it's just x squared, that means the x coordinate's just 0. -7 here means +7 for real. Square root of 9 squared is just 9. -13 means +13. +5 means -5. And the square root of 9 is 3. +8 means -8. Nothing means 0. Square root of 100 is 10. All right, if I give you the center and the radius, write the equation. So center 0, 0, again, that's just x squared plus y squared equals 17 squared is 289. Center 19, 11, so it's going to be x minus 19 squared plus y minus 11 squared, because they're both positive, so they're negative in the equation, equals your radius squared, 16. Center -3, 0, so it means +3 first, and then nothing since it's 0, so it's just y squared, and then equals 9 squared, 81. Center is 6, -7, so x minus 6 squared plus y plus 7, because it's negative, equals 1 squared is 1. All right, now if I give you the graph, write the equation. So we first have to figure out what our center and our radius are. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, my x coordinate's 4, my y coordinate's 1. So the center is 4, 1, and if I count the radius, we'll just count from the center up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Radius is 5. So center 4, 1, radius 5, put it in the equation, -4, y minus 1, 5 squared, 25. Center 0, 0, radius is just a 1, so x squared plus y squared equals 1 squared, which is 1. Center for this one looks like 6 and -2, and the radius, if we count it, 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So that's going to be x minus 6 squared plus y plus 2 squared. Definitely don't forget the plus in the middle of the x's and the y's, and don't forget the squared on the outside of the parentheses. Equals 4 squared, which is 16. Center of this one, -1, +4. Radius is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So we've got x plus 1, it's the opposite, y minus 4. 5 squared, 25. All right, graph the following circles. So now I give you the equation. You have to graph the circle. So center is going to be opposite of these. +4, +1. Radius is going to be 3. +4, 1, 2, 3, 4. +1. Radius is 3, which means, again, I'm going to count up 3, down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 3, and left 3 from the center. And then make my circle. All right, here, opposite, so -2, opposite of nothing, 0. Square root of 16, 4. So -2, 0. Radius is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, last one for these. 0 for the x, +3 for the y. Square root of 25, 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Radius is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Last problem. says a circle center is at 12, 29, and 1837 is a point on the circle's edge. Find the equation of the circle. So we have the center, but the other thing we need for the equation is the radius. If it tells us this is the center of the circle and this is a point on the circle's edge, then the distance between these two is going to equal the radius, because the definition of radius is the distance from the center to the outer edge of the circle. So we're going to need the distance formula to find the radius of the circle. Distance formula, if you've forgotten, is going to be x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, all of that square rooted. So if we plug all those in, so x coordinates are 18 and 12, so 18 minus 12 squared plus y coordinates are 37 and 29. 18 minus 12 is 6. 6 squared is 36. 37 minus 29 is, let's see, 37 minus 29 is going to be 8. 8 squared is going to be 64. 36 plus 64 is 100, and the square root of that is 10, so that's going to be the radius. So the radius squared would equal 100 when we put that in the equation. It's going to be equal 100. Center is 12, 29, so minus 12 minus 29, and then equals 100. There we go.